Good evening. Coming up on News Central, Governor Engler's proposal doesn't permit a higher education budget increase, so it's making CMU's budget lacking funds. I'm David Scott.
And tonight a sexual assault program will be held on CMU's campus. We have the details. I'm Angie Schramski. News Central is next.
Serving the Mount Pleasant community and Central Michigan University. With Angie Schramski, Dave Scott, John Spitzley with weather, and Todd Cox with sports. Live from Central Michigan University, this is News Central.
Even though Governor Engler's state budget proposals included money for a new music building, it has few other gifts for higher education.
While there isn't going to be a cut in higher education, the lack of increase will make operating the university more difficult. Engler's proposal has higher education budget remaining the same for the next 2 years. However, the possibility of an increase for fiscal year 1994 to 95 remains. In order to meet the rising costs of operation, the extra money that is needed will have to come from tuition increases, which will make it much harder on students and their families. Engler's budget proposal has state universities receiving just over $559 million for capital outlay projects, which includes the $2 million for CMU's new music building.
Tonight, the Mount Pleasant City Commission will meet to discuss their goals for the year. City officials will be trying to approve program designs in order to attain goals. Other business the commission is planning on is to approve the extension of Industrial Park North, approving engineering service for construction of sludge storage tank, and approve construction on airport vertical omni-range device. The City Commission meeting will begin at 7 p.m. in City Hall.
Professor Steve Thompson will be on hand tonight in Moore Hall, Kiva, to discuss the dangers and realities of sexual assault. His presentation will touch on ways to prevent sexual assault, as well as the sequence of behavior that results in the idea that sexual assault is acceptable. The program is sponsored by CMU Pan-Hellenic Women's Task Force and begins at 7 p.m.
Nominations for Residence Hall Assembly seats on its executive board next year opened during last Monday's meeting. Nominations for the 6 executive board positions have been completed, and the nominees will speak tonight. 3 of the 6 current executive board members will not seek re-election. In order to be elected for vice president, treasurer, secretary, Michigan representative, or national communications coordinator, you must have been an RHA member for 1 semester. 2 semesters of experience are required for the presidential position.
Local veterans are getting help finding work thanks to a federal grant of $125,000. The money is being made available through the Jobs Training Act and will cover half of the training wages to jobs paying $6 per hour or more. The idea of the program, now in its 4th year, is if employees can save money training new workers, then they will sign up for the program to keep their costs down. Those intended for the program include Vietnam and combat veterans, disabled veterans of 30% or more, minority veterans, and veterans who served within the last 48 months. Those veterans who are unemployed or don't make enough money to support themselves or their families are also eligible for the program.
The state Senate is firing up for Tuesday's decision on a bill that will cut auto insurance rates by $100 a year and will also put a cap on the already existing unlimited medical benefits. If this bill is passed, it would affect some 6 million motorists in the state of Michigan. News Central spoke with Cindy Zucker, an insurance agent for the General Agency Company. She said she feels that although the break is nice, a $1 million expected cap on medical benefits would be too low. News Central also spoke with John Zomer, the owner of an insurance company here in Mount Pleasant. He approved of the bill, saying that auto insurance wasn't meant to be medical insurance. Michigan ranks 17th in the nation for the cost of coverage. Under the new bill, Michigan motorists would pay 16% less.
4 people lost their lives on Michigan's highways over the weekend. Glenn Eugene Blowers of Battle Creek died yesterday in a 1-vehicle accident on Interstate 94 in Kalamazoo County. Keith J. Havendink of Holland died yesterday in Allegheny County when the car he was driving collided with a train at a railroad crossing. James Allen Klein, a passenger from Taylor, was killed in his hometown when the car he was riding hit a light pole. And Diane Andrews of Ohio was killed on I-94 Friday. She was the only victim who was wearing a seatbelt.
A recent controversy centering around the shooting of a pet deer by a conservation officer has been resolved. Oil City residents had circulated a petition demanding reasoning for Officer John Geminder's actions. Outraged at the fact that he had shot the deer in front of children, the residents went to the Department of Natural Resources for an answer. Geminder sat down with the children and apologized, giving his reasons for the shooting. The officer shot the deer because it posed a traffic hazard and would eventually be dangerous around the children when it matured.
A Michigan restaurateur, Chuck Muir, and his wife, along with their sailing companions, have been missing for 10 days. 54-year-old Muir and his wife, Betty, and George and Lynn Drummy of Grosse Pointe Park were sailing to Jupiter, Florida. Coast Guard officials in Miami say someone aboard the boat used a cellular phone to call 911 over a week ago, but the call was cut off just 14 seconds. Muir's family have launched a private hunt since the Coast Guard have called off their search.
John joins us now for a look at what's coming up in weather. John, are we going to see anything warm in the near future?
Well, Angie, we have a system just off to our southwest that's going to be moving through, and as that moves by us, things are going to gradually start to warm up by the end of the week. We could see 60 degrees possibly by this weekend. I'll have details coming up in just a little bit.
Okay, thanks.
And when we come back, Tipper Gore has been in Detroit today discussing the new health care reforms.
And insurance rates may be decreasing for Michigan motorists. Stay tuned.
Told you before we went to see the kids to wrap them water pipes with insulation.
Yeah, should have listened.
And didn't I tell you to leave the doors under the sink open?
Yeah,
And leave the heat on?
yep.
You know, if you'd done all them things, we wouldn't have had to rip out the wall-to-wall carpet when we got home.
Yep, I know.
And we wouldn't have drowned the Victrola.
Yep, should have listened.
Those fools.
Oh, I got one.
Having the right resume is vital to your future career. That's why you need a resume from Copy Corner, your professional resume headquarters. Copy Corner will help you every step of the way, from writing to layout to printing. And you'll end up with a resume to impress any prospective employer. For one resume or 100, you can't beat our prices, high quality, or fast service. So for a professional resume, contact the experts at Copy Corner, located in Sadler Square, Big Rapids, and the Cinema Plaza, Mount Pleasant.
Personally, I learned about the disease and all the implications when my brother was diagnosed. And it was a harsh reality. I had to learn a lot very quickly. Even though I thought I knew a lot about AIDS, the picture changed when it became a family issue.
If I, the son of a Baptist minister from basically a rural area, can acquire AIDS, anybody can.
Obviously, women can get AIDS. I mean, I'm certainly here to witness to that. That it's not a we-they disease, it's an us disease.
AIDS is not a problem that affects other people. AIDS affects us all. Know the facts about AIDS. Know how to protect yourself and your family. Tell others. For answers to your questions about AIDS, call 1-800-342-AIDS.
A district judge today dismissed an inquest into the death of a Roseville man in the presence of Dr. Jack Kevorkian.
Macomb County Prosecutor Carl Marlinga requested the dismissal after Kevorkian's attorney agreed to let him question 2 witnesses to the suicide. The investigation was reopened February 25th after Right to Life advocates found a document. It quoted Hugh Gale asking that the mask delivering carbon monoxide be removed. Kevorkian's attorneys claimed that the document was a rough draft and that it was mistaken and had been retyped. Governor Engler is promising to press on with his quest to improve Michigan's economy by retraining workers, retaining businesses, and marketing the state. The governor is scheduled to make the remarks in a brief speech tonight on public television. Engler says in his first 2 years in office, he has fought to improve the business climate by cutting taxes, state spending, and the government's workforce. He says he's simplifying the job training system by taking programs from 4 departments and putting them into one agency. This is part of a series of speeches the governor is giving to promote his plans.
Vice President Al Gore's wife, Tipper, is assuring hospital patients they still be able to choose their doctors under the new health care reforms. Mrs. Gore and Health and Human Services Secretary Donna Shalala met with about a dozen patients and employees at St. John's Hospital in Detroit. Later today, Shalala and Gore scheduled to attend a health care forum at Henry Ford Community College in Dearborn. First Lady Hillary Clinton was to accompany the pair, but she is in Little Rock visiting her ailing father.
Attempts to lift up girls' skirts will no longer be tolerated on programs in the Detroit area. The school board last week approved a policy banning student-to-student sexual harassment. The new policy defines harassment as unwelcome sexual advances or verbal conduct of a sexual nature that interferes with a student's education. Assistant Superintendent Jean Barnard says the 170,000 pupil district is working out a complaint and punishment system.
Published reports say Hall of Famer and former Detroit Lion Lem Barney faces arraignment today on 2 counts of drug possession. The Detroit Free Press says warrants naming Barney were issued Saturday. District Court Magistrate Richard Hellorn told the Free Press that warrants charged Barney with 1 count of possession of less than 25 grams of cocaine and possession of marijuana. State police say 47-year-old Barney was arrested Friday after his car smashed into a ramp on southbound Interstate 75 in Detroit. He was freed on personal bond.
Onboard computers aborted today's launch attempt by the Space Shuttle Columbia. Officials blame a dysfunctional valve that allowed pressure to get too high in a fuel line. Launch directors will re-inspect Columbia as well as the engines and other shuttles to make sure the valve problem does not reoccur. Secretary of State Warren Christopher was in Chicago today to speak about helping Russia out of its political crisis, calling it the greatest strategic challenge of all time.
Russian people, not a hand of pity, but a hand of partnership. We must lead a long-term Western strategy of engagement for democracy.
Saying that the Clinton administration welcomes Yeltsin's assurance that he'll respect civil liberties, Christopher spoke 3 days after Russian President Boris Yeltsin announced he is assuming emergency powers in his struggle with hardliners opposed to his reforms. Meanwhile, the White House is reiterating that a scheduled summit with Russian President Boris Yeltsin is still on. For now. The April summit is set for Vancouver, Canada, and a proposal to move it to Moscow has been discussed. President Yeltsin is amidst a divided country and is fighting for his political life in a battle with former communists who dominate Russia's Congress. Spokesperson George Stephanopoulos says the U.S. still supports Yeltsin as a leader of Russia's reform process. However, he also says Yeltsin is not the only reformer in Russia, suggesting the administration could work with somebody else.
A little later on, Todd will join us with all the sports.
And when we come back, John will be in with all the day's forecast. Stay tuned.
Long ago, in a place where there was nothing, something incredible began to happen. As the centuries passed, a beautiful forest blossomed, and all was well. Then one day, a man was careless. And once again, there was nothing.
That's my dad. And that's Mom. Dad's got an idea, a way to get rid of all the grody garbage that's polluting the world. He's invented a big rocket ship to shoot all the garbage into outer space. Mom's not sure, but Dad says his invention will save the world.
There's an easier way to save the world. Recycle. For your free recycling action guide, write Recycle. Environmental Defense Fund, 257 Park Avenue South, New York, New York.
That you will always have a friend here at Carver High. Congratulations.
Decide what you're going to do after graduation, Michael.
Yep, I'm going to go home and make a sandwich.
Well then, Michael.
Hey, how you doing, Mr. D?
I'm fine.
Listen, what are you doing after graduation? I don't know. I was thinking about going home and brushing the teeth and combing the hair. Hey, what's up, girl? We made it.
Hey, I couldn't have gotten through physics without you.
Yeah, well, you're on your own at college.
It's not fair.
That's all right. I'm going to get a job, you know. I'm going to start working. I'm going to save. And I'll be in college in another year or two.
So, what do you have planned, Mike?
I think I'm going to go home and make a sandwich. Okay.
Support the United Negro College Fund. A mind is a terrible thing to waste.
Well, good evening, everyone. Currently under mostly cloudy skies. Our temperature is 37 degrees. Our dew point is at 14, and the relative humidity is 46%. The barometer is falling slightly, and our wind is out of the east at 13 miles per hour. As you take a look at our almanac, our normal high for this time of year is 45 degrees. We set a record of 68 degrees back in 1979. Our record low was 9 degrees back in 1959. Let's take a look at our a national map. There we go. You'll see there's a system just located off to our southwest that's going to be pushing through the Ohio Valley area. You can see the rain-snow line located here between Wisconsin and Chicago. That this system will be pushing off, and our chances for rain and snow for tomorrow are slight. I don't think we'll see very much here. They'll see a little bit farther to our south around the Detroit area. But our neck of the woods should just see possibly a few flurries or scattered showers in the afternoon. Back behind, you see high pressure is moving in, and temperatures are already starting to warm up in this part of the United States, getting into the 50s and 60s. That should be our case for the coming weekend. You see another system off here that should be pushing off through Canada and won't be affecting us very much. You take a look at our state map. You see clouds are starting to move in. Here's the rain-snow line located off to the southwest, and we are in the 30s and 40s, and off to the north they're in the 20s and 30s. Let's take a look at our forecast. For tonight, skies should be variably cloudy. We'll drop down to about 25 degrees, not as low as what we have been seeing. Winds should still be quite brisk out of the east at 5 to 15 miles per hour. And then for tomorrow, skies will remain mostly cloudy with a slight chance of rain or snow. We could pick up a few flurries in the morning or even a little rain mixed in the afternoon, and our high should get up around 43. And then our extended outlook calls for temperatures to gradually start warming up. By Friday, we should see temperatures reach around 60 degrees, and our low is only getting in the lower 30s and upper 20s. So it looks like things are going to improve for us for the weekend at least.
So yesterday was the first day of spring, but our spring weather we can't really expect until this weekend.
Yeah, it's a little bit off, but I think we are finally going to see some spring-like weather.
Is it here to stay?
Let's hope so. I think it is.
Okay, thank you, John.
When we come back, Todd will be in with all the day's sports.
Having the right resume is vital to your future career. That's why you need a resume from Copy Corner, your professional resume headquarters. Copy Corner will help you every step of the way, from writing to layout to printing. And you'll end up with a resume to impress any prospective employer. For one resume or 100, you can't beat our prices, high quality, or fast service. So for a professional resume, contact the experts at Copy Corner, located in Saddler Square, Big Rapids, and the Cinema Plaza, Mount Pleasant.
Honey, it's Mom. Please let me in. I'm worried.
Learn to see the signs of mental illness. 2 out of 3 people who get help get better. For a free booklet, call the National Mental Health Association.
Everyone has their own idea of a hero.
Magic Johnson. Arnold Schwarzenegger. Mr. Neal.
My hero, Gloria Stefan.
Martin Luther King. Mr. Hope.
These are teachers, but to the kids they've reached, they're heroes. They've given them hope. They've given them choices. They've changed their lives.
Well, the children are the heroes.
The most fulfilling thing is watching a child succeed.
I just like to help them make their dreams come true.
Teachers have the power to wake up young minds, to be heroes, to make a difference. Reach for that power. Teach. If you want to make an impact on our future, call 1-800-45-TEACH.
Mr. Wilkins.
Mrs. Eisenhower.
Mr. Adler.
Be a teacher. Be a hero.
Todd joins us now with today's sports highlights.
Todd, I don't know about you, but I think that Michigan game was too close for comfort last night.
Very too close for comfort. Good evening, everyone. The Michigan Wolverines got a big scare yesterday by UCLA as the Bruins built a 19-point first half lead, but Michigan fought back to beat the Bruins 86-84 in overtime. As we travel all the way to Tucson, Arizona for the highlights. As Ed O'Bannon fires up 3-pointers in the first half, he finished with 17 in the first half. And then Richard Petruska got in the act of scoring 3-pointers here as UCLA built a 13-point lead at halftime, 52-39. Then in the second half, Juwan Howard, Chris Webber with the slam, and the Michigan Wolverines are on the run as Webber says, let's go, let's go. And then with 8 minutes to go, Jalen Rose for a 3-pointer, boom, and Michigan has its first lead of the game. And then we go to overtime, tied at 84. Jalen Rose, road drive in. He'll shoot it. It goes off the rim, and then Jimmy King gets the rebound, puts it in, and there's still 1.5 seconds left. The Wolverines shouldn't celebrate yet, as Ed O'Bannon will get the ball, and he will put it up, and he will hit the backboard, nothing but brick, and the Wolverines, again, win 86-84. Chris Webber led the Wolverines with 27 points. Sean Tarver paced the Bruins with 24. Michigan next plays George Washington on Friday in Seattle. Well, elsewhere in the NCAA tournament yesterday, in the West Regional, it was George Washington down in Southern 90-80. In the Southeast Regional, it was Kentucky outscoring Utah 83-62. Wake Forest came from behind to beat Iowa 84-78. In the East Regional, it was Virginia bombing UMass 71-56, and in Cincinnati clobbered New Mexico State 92-55. And in the Midwest Regional, Indiana squeaked out a 73-70 victory over Xavier, and Louisville came from behind to beat Oklahoma State 78-63. The Detroit Pistons got a 17-point performance from Joe Dumars as the Pistons squeaked out a 106-101 victory against the Lakers in Los Angeles last night. The Piston win avenged a recent home court loss to the Lakers. The Pistons preserved the win with 6 straight Dumars free throws in the final 70 seconds. Reserve guard Gerald Glass helped out with 16 points. Detroit is 2-2 on the road trip and finished the trip tonight at Golden State. Elsewhere in the NBA yesterday, it was Indiana edging Phoenix 109-108. Reggie Miller scored 26 points for the Pacers. Seattle down Houston 100-89 as the Rockets have lost 2 in a row since their 15-game winning streak was ended. New York bounced San Antonio 115-96. Patrick Ewing scored 30, and the Knicks have won 9 in a row. New Jersey clobbered Dallas 106-84. The Nets ended the Mavericks' big 2-game winning streak. Boston outdueled Portland 106-104 as Reggie Lewis led the Celtics with 37, while Cliff Robertson had 26 for the Blazers. And Charlotte eked out a 99-95 victory over Minnesota. Alonzo Mourning had 24 points, while Christian Laettner scored 27 for the T-Wolves. In the NHL yesterday, Dallas Drake scored a goal and an assist as the Red Wings clobbered Minnesota 6-2. 5 other Wings scored in a blowout win. The Wings have set a team record for most goals in a season with 327. Detroit has won 3 straight while scoring 18 goals in those games. The Wings are still 1 point behind Chicago and 4 points ahead of third place Toronto. Elsewhere on the pro ice yesterday, it was Chicago skating past Tampa Bay 3-2. Pittsburgh was 2 better than Edmonton 6-4. Mario Lemieux and Kevin Stevens each scored a goal for the Penguins. New Jersey skated past Philadelphia 3-2. Washington down San Jose 5-3 as Detroiter Kevin Hatcher scored 1 goal and had 3 assists for the Capitals. And Winnipeg doubled up on Calgary 4-2. Teemu Selanne scored his 64th and 65th goals of the year. Selanne is now is only 1 point behind the NHL record for rookies. And finally, in NFL news, the NFL owners have awarded Super Bowl 30 in 1996 to the Phoenix area. The game will be played at Sun Devil Stadium in Tempe. The 1993 Super Bowl was originally scheduled for the Phoenix area, but the NFL owners moved it to the Rose Bowl after voters in Arizona rejected a paid holiday for state employees honoring Martin Luther King Jr. in 1990. And in other football news, the Phoenix Cardinals have signed former Redskins wide receiver Gary Clark to a contract reportedly worth $6 million over 3 years. And quarterback Jim Harbaugh of the Bears signed a 4-year deal today worth $13 million. And that's it for sports.
So we'll look forward to that U of M George Washington game.
Yeah, I think yesterday Wolverines woke up. They thought it was going to be easy path after Georgia Tech and Arizona were upset. So it's not going to be lightly now. They know that.
Definitely got hard work ahead
Exactly.
of them. Okay, well, thanks, Todd. We'll be right back.
After dating the guy forever, you think I could tell him anything.
Why is this so hard? I'm really scared.
It takes a lot of guts to tell someone he's too drunk to drive. But you can do it. Just say it. Because if you don't, there may be nothing left to say.
Kevin, I'm gonna drive.
Take the keys, call a cab, take a stand. Friends don't let friends drive drunk.
Thousands of forest fires are started by people who never realize what they've done. Some never even set foot in the forest.
This year, more than 40,000 Americans are expected to become infected with HIV. Fortunately, many people have found a way to respond.
I got a friend that's got AIDS.
What? They're shooting up? You think that's the only way people get AIDS?
Educating themselves,
Someone is infected with HIV without a blood test.
their employees,
On this AIDS thing.
The issue here is education.
their congregations and friends,
Enlightening sermon. I'm glad you came.
We need to talk to our donor.
their community,
says that AIDS is growing faster in small towns.
especially their families.
You and Nelson, you think you're invincible. No one is.
Education does make a difference.
My name is Eileen, and last year I found out that I have HIV.
If we're going to prevent the spread of HIV, each and every one of us must do our part. Find out how you can help prevent HIV. Call 1-800-342-AIDS.
The standoff in Waco, Texas might come to a noisy end. That is if authorities recruit the music industry on their team.
Officials had been blasting music at the Branch Davidian compound, trying to drive cult leader David Koresh nuts so he'll give up. The FBI played chantings of religious monks last night. Now, someone has suggested playing Billy Ray Cyrus' Achy Breaky Heart. Officials haven't announced any further selections from their playlist. I don't know about that idea.
Well, if they keep playing country music, he just might come out.
I know. That song, the Billy Ray Cyrus one.
Well, Todd, how do you think Michigan will fare against George Washington this Friday?
I think they'll have a little easier time UCLA, but I mean, look what the tournament has done. But George Washington has a big 7-footer in Yankee Dairy, so that's going to be hard for Michigan to stop them. But they should do fairly. It's not going to be easy win like Coastal Carolina, but it's going to be tough.
Who's your pick?
Michigan.
Devoted fan.
That's right. You have to be. And John, you can expect some warmer weather coming up in a couple days.
Yes, finally. After a system moves past us, we should see a lot warmer temperatures around here, and people can start getting their shorts out and riding their bikes. Yeah.
We waited this long. What's a few more days?
Exactly.
Okay. Well, that's all for News Central. Thanks for joining us.
Have a good night.